Now we turn to the Ukraine crisis. Kyiv has offered Moscow unconditional talks in port city of Mariupol with about 1,000 civilians trapped in a besieged steel plant. Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister sounded the alert on Wednesday, saying evacuation corridors out of the city were not working as planned. Russia blamed the Ukraine for the hold-up, saying Kyiv didn't avail of open corridors. Meanwhile, the UN's refugee agency says more than 5 million people have fled Ukraine. Philip Crowther has more details from Lviv in western Ukraine.
Well, everyone in Ukraine and in large parts of the world had their eyes on Mariupol, not literally because there is so little we can see from inside Mariupol right now. Such a dangerous place, such a difficult place for us to get journalists on the ground, for example, and to really find out what is happening. But here is what we've been able to piece together. The latest number that we have heard comes from Moscow from days ago already, saying that there are around 2,500 Ukrainian soldiers still defending that city, all of them in a steel plant, it would appear, a massive steel plant where there are also reported to be civilians hiding out. Now, most importantly, there was an attempt to get civilians out today. But first, let's listen to the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He met in the capital city, Kyiv, today with the European Council President Charles Michel. Here is what Volodymyr Zelensky said about the importance of this southeastern city of Mariupol.
Так, всі хлопці в Маріуполі.
Everyone in Mariupol wants our victory. They want the city to be unblocked. No one is going to surrender to the enemy. This is how they feel, this is who they are, and this is what is inside their souls.
And the defenders, those Ukrainian soldiers who are still in Mariupol, that besieged city, well, they are seen as being heroic from the Ukrainian people. That's one of the reasons why that city is trying to hold out. There are tactical reasons as well, of course. But very importantly is, of course, the fate of those who are still there, civilians, but also, of course, the Ukrainian soldiers. There are attempts to get those civilians out of there as quickly as possible. But the bad news is that the Ukrainian government now announces that a humanitarian corridor that was supposed to be in place today to get civilians out of that besieged city into the closest, larger Ukrainian-controlled city, that humanitarian corridor did not work out. The Ukrainian government, in fact, saying that Russia was not able to control its soldiers, but also saying that Russia was not able or was not willing to organize transport to get civilians out of Mariupol and to those places where there were buses and ambulances awaiting those civilians who were supposed to get out today. There will be another attempt for civilians to evacuate today, says the Ukrainian government. Philip Crowther for CGTN in Lviv, Ukraine.